Right now, in three quiet counties scattered across Florida, retirees are keeping every single penny of their pension checks. No state income tax, no federal gains, just the money they earned. Meanwhile, 30 minutes down the road, their neighbors are bleeding thousands in property taxes they didn't see coming. Here's the twist nobody tells you. Florida markets itself as a tax haven, and it is, but only if you know which Florida you're moving to. The difference between financial freedom and financial suffocation in retirement isn't your portfolio, it's your zip code. And most people choose the wrong one. Look, I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to share with you isn't something you'll find in the glossy retirement brochures or the real estate seminars. If you're tired of being fed half-truths about retirement, tired of videos that promise paradise but leave out the part where your property taxes triple in 5 years, then this is for you. And if this resonates, if you feel like someone's finally giving you the whole story, hit that like button. Not for me, but so more people who need this truth can find it. Subscribe if you want to keep peeling back these layers with me because we're just getting started. Here's what nobody wants to admit. You've been sold a story. The story goes like this. Move to Florida, pay zero state income tax, live on the beach, drink mojitos, die happy. It's a beautiful story. It's also incomplete. And incomplete information at the most critical financial decision of your life isn't just unhelpful, it's dangerous. Because here's what they don't tell you in that story. Florida has to fund itself somehow. Roads, schools, police, fire departments, libraries, none of that is free. And if the state isn't collecting income tax from you, it's collecting from you somewhere else. Property taxes, sales taxes, fees on everything from car registrations to building permits. The burden doesn't disappear, it just moves. And for retirees, especially retirees on fixed incomes who own homes, that burden lands hardest on property taxes. Now, here's where it gets really painful. Property taxes in Florida aren't set by the state, they're set by the county. And that means the financial reality of retiring in Miami-Dade County is completely different from retiring in Walton County. Even though they're both Florida, even though you're escaping the same state income tax in both places. One county might charge you $2,000 a year. Another might charge you $6,500. Same state, same services, more or less. Wildly different costs, and the tragedy is that most people find this out after they've already moved. After they've bought the house. After they've set up their life. After it feels too late to start over. That's the betrayal, not the tax itself, but the surprise. The realization that you were given incomplete information when you needed the whole picture most. So let me give you the whole picture, or at least the part of it that might change everything for you. There are 3 counties in Florida that have figured out how to do something remarkable. They've kept property taxes low, genuinely low, without gutting services, without turning into ghost towns, without making life unlivable. They're not perfect. They come with trade-offs, and we'll talk about those honestly. But if your goal is to keep as much of your pension as possible, to let your $70 or $80 or $90,000 a year actually be $70 or $80 or $90,000 instead of bleeding away in property taxes, these 3 counties are where you need to be looking. Let's start with Walton County. It sits in the Panhandle, tucked along the Gulf Coast, and it's home to some of the most beautiful beaches you've ever seen. White sand, emerald water, the kind of coastline that shows up in travel magazines. But here's what makes Walton County different. The average property tax bill here is around $2,100 a year. Compare that to Miami-Dade, where the average is over $5,000, or Palm Beach, where it's pushing $6,500. That's a $4,000 difference. Every single year. For the exact same lack of state income tax. So how does Walton County do it? 2 things. First, tourism. Walton County has a healthy tourism economy, especially around Destin and the beaches. That means the county collects revenue from hotels, vacation rentals, restaurants, all the businesses that cater to visitors. That tourism money subsidizes the tax base for residents. You're not carrying the whole load by yourself. Second, growth management. Walton County didn't chase explosive growth at any cost. They didn't say yes to every developer who showed up with a plan to build 10,000 homes. They grew carefully, sustainably, and that kept infrastructure costs manageable. They didn't overbuild and then ask residents to pay for the maintenance forever. Walton County is the place that decided not to turn itself inside out chasing the next boom. And because of that, retirees who live there get to keep more of their money. It's not a miracle. It's just a different set of priorities. Now let's talk about Dixie County. If Walton County is coastal and carefully managed, Dixie County is rural and proudly simple. It's located on the Gulf Coast too, but farther south, quieter, less discovered. The average property tax here is around $1,800 a year. $1,800. That's among the lowest in the entire state. Dixie County keeps taxes low because it keeps things small. The population is under 17,000 people. There's no sprawl, no traffic, no pressure to build massive infrastructure projects. The county offers basic services, roads, emergency response, schools, but it's not trying to be Miami. It's not trying to be Orlando. It's trying to be Dixie County, and that's enough. Here's the emotional truth of a place like Dixie County. It's not for everyone. If you need a hospital 5 minutes away, this isn't it. If you need a Costco and a Whole Foods and a shopping mall, this isn't it. But if what you need is peace, space, and the ability to stretch your pension as far as it'll go, Dixie County is one of the best-kept secrets in Florida. It's the county that said small is enough, and for a lot of retirees, that's not a compromise, that's the dream. And then there's Gilchrist County. It sits just inland, north of Gainesville, in a part of Florida that still feels like old Florida. Agricultural, community-oriented, unhurried. The average property tax bill here is around $2,000 a year, and the millage rate has stayed consistently low for years. Gilchrist County works because it's built on a different economic model. It's not a tourist destination. It's not a retirement mecca. It's a farming county, and that agricultural economy provides stability without demanding the kind of explosive growth that drives up taxes. The county also carries very little debt, which means they're not stuck paying interest on bonds for decades. And the community is tight-knit enough that people actually show up to budget meetings, actually pay attention to how their tax dollars are being spent. There's accountability here, and it shows. Gilchrist County is the place that remembered what sustainability actually means. Not just environmentally, but financially. They didn't borrow against the future to build a flashy present. They built slow, steady, and solid. And now retirees who move there get to benefit from that patience. So those are the three: Walton, Dixie, and Gilchrist. 3 counties where your property tax bill stays low, where your pension doesn't get devoured by the invisible costs everyone forgets to mention. But here's the question I know you're asking. If these places are so great, why doesn't everyone just move there? And that's the question we need to sit with, honestly, because the answer matters. Low taxes come with trade-offs. These counties are rural, or at least less urban than the places most people picture when they think of Florida. That means fewer hospitals. If you have a serious medical issue, you might be driving an hour to get to a major medical center. It means fewer cultural amenities. No symphony, no art museums, no big concert venues. It means fewer direct flights if you're someone who travels a lot. It means longer drives to major cities if you need access to specialized services, or just want the energy of a city now and then. You're trading convenience for cost. You're trading noise for peace. You're trading crowds for space. And here's the thing, neither choice is wrong. But one might be wrong for you. Some people need the city. They need the hospital nearby. They need the airport. They need options and variety and the hum of activity. For those people, paying higher property taxes might be worth it, because what they're getting in return, access, speed, convenience, matters more than the money. But other people don't need any of that. What they need is simplicity. They need quiet. They need their money to last. They need to not feel like they're being nickel and dimed every month by a system that sees their fixed income as something to extract from. For those people, places like Walton, Dixie, and Gilchrist aren't compromises. They're exactly right. And here's the paradox I want you to sit with. The counties that tax you the least might actually give you the most if what you value is space, peace, and control over your own money. But if what you value is access and variety and being close to everything, you might feel poor in a different way, even if you're keeping more of your pension. So how do you choose? How do you know which trade-off you can live with? I think it comes down to three questions, and I want you to ask them honestly, not just to me, but to yourself. First question, what do I actually need in retirement? Not want, need. Because wants are infinite and they'll bankrupt you. But needs, real needs, are finite. Do you need to be near a major hospital because of a health condition? Do you need to be near family? Do you need cultural activities to feel alive? Or do you feel most alive when you're away from all of that? Get clear on the difference between need and want, and half the decision makes itself. Second question, how much of my pension am I willing to give away for convenience? Because that's the real trade. Convenience costs money. The closer you are to everything, the more you pay. The more services a county offers, the more you fund through property taxes. There's no judgment here. Convenience has real value, but it also has a real price. And if you're on a fixed income, you need to know what that price is and whether you're willing to pay it. Third question, can I imagine myself happy in a place where the pace is slower and the savings are real? Because moving to a low-tax county isn't just a financial decision, it's a lifestyle decision. These places are quieter, they're smaller, they move at a different speed. Some people find that suffocating, other people find it liberating. You need to know which one you are before you pack the moving truck. The right county isn't the one with the lowest taxes. It's the one where your money, your values, and your vision of retirement align. And now you know where to start looking. Here's what we've uncovered together. Florida isn't one tax story, it's 67. Every county writes its own rules, sets its own millage rates, and decides what kind of place it wants to be. The three counties we talked about today, Walton, Dixie, and Gilchrist, chose to be places where retirees can breathe. Where a $75,000 pension stays a $75,000 pension, not a $68,000 one after property taxes eat into it, year after year. But the deeper truth is this. Knowing the numbers is only half the battle. The other half is knowing yourself. What do you need to feel alive in retirement? What are you willing to trade? What does freedom actually look like when it's not just a marketing slogan but a daily life you have to wake up and live? Because here's the thing nobody tells you. Retirement isn't about escaping work. It's about building a life where your money serves your choices, not the other way around. And that life starts with a map, a calculator, and the courage to ask the questions most people avoid until it's too late. My grandfather moved to Florida in 2008. He had a plan. He had savings. He had a dream of warm winters and a quiet life. 10 years later, his property taxes had tripled, and his dream felt like a mistake he couldn't undo. He never moved again, not because he loved where he was, but because moving felt impossible at that point in his life. And I watched him spend his last years feeling trapped by a decision he made with incomplete information. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone. You work too hard, you save too long, you deserve to keep what's yours, and you deserve to know the whole truth before you choose where to spend the rest of your life. So if this video gave you a new way of thinking about where you'll retire, or even just made you pause and ask better questions, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Not for the algorithm, but because it tells me this kind of deep, honest breakdown is worth making more of. It tells me there are people out there who want the real story, not the sanitized version. And if you've got thoughts, questions, or your own story about choosing where to retire, maybe you've already made the move. Maybe you're in the middle of deciding. Maybe you wish someone had told you this 10 years ago. Drop a comment below. I read them all. Some of the best insights come from the people watching, not the person talking. We're all trying to figure this out together. Finally, if you want more videos that challenge the retirement myths and give you the real numbers behind the dream, subscribe. Because I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. I'm here to give you the map. Let's keep pulling back the curtain together. You worked too hard to lose your pension to a zip code you didn't research. Now you know where to look. Now you know what to ask. And that's how you keep what's yours.